All right, welcome into our mid-morning update on this very cold day. And yes, we do have some flurries, at least if you're in the Topeka area. As I was driving back to work a little bit ago, getting ready for this, we did have some flurries in the Topeka area, and some other areas are as well. But between today and then another round Saturday night, I'm not expecting much in the way of accumulation, so don't be concerned if you start seeing those flurries flying around. Most areas are in that trace to a ½ inch. Few spots in that ½ inch to an inch, but continue to use caution, especially on elevated surfaces if there is at least a little bit of minor accumulation in your area. Otherwise, we're going to continue to stay cold through the first half of the weekend before we finally get some warmer weather. All right, so how does this all play out? I'm going to back up that forecast, showing you the computer models and how we got to that forecast, and taking a look at our sky cams and showing we are overcast. It's going to be very hard to see any flurries anyway, but we do have those out there in a few areas. In fact, taking a look at live storm tracker from Prairie Bend Casino and Resort, showing these snow showers pushing down from Nebraska and pushing into central Kansas. And that's where I think the bulk of the snow accumulation is going to be. Again, it's not going to be much. If you're traveling out there, you still don't really necessarily have to worry. I still think most areas will have very minimal accumulation overall. But here's a look at least closer to northeast Kansas. The darker the color, the heavier the snow may come down. It's still not heavy, but it's heavier. And sometimes when I look at the green, it's a little bit easier to see that versus the blue. So here's the precipitation rate, and showing the darker colors within that. And again, it's not a lot. You'll notice that there's nothing in the Topeka area, no colors, even though it is, there are flurries out there. A little bit more concentrated area of some light snow up in north central Kansas, maybe just south of Seneca. Otherwise, we are looking at that continue to push through the area the remainder of the day. Between our two short-term computer models, you'll notice that no accumulation, maybe a dusting at the most, but it's not much. And so we are going to continue to, for the most part, impact-wise, just the cold weather being the main impact without much in the way of any flurries. Taking a look at temperatures across the country. Awfully cold down to the south in the 30s and 40s, but certainly very cold here. 22 in Topeka, even 2 below in Minot, with wind chill values as cold as 17 below in Bismarck, 12 below in Minneapolis, even 10 in Topeka. We're going to continue to usher in those colder temperatures coming down from the north throughout the day today. So the temperatures that we have right now, that's as warm as it's going to get. Let's look at wind chills first, and then I'll show you the temperatures. We have temperatures for wind chills mostly in the teens, but a few single digits up in the northeast, and that is going to be heading our way for the rest of northeast Kansas later on today. Low 20s for most areas. Temperatures really haven't moved much from the morning show from 5 to 7 o'clock. Very consistent temperatures. But as the winds start to pick up later on this morning into the afternoon, and we start to usher in those colder temperatures from the north, I do expect temperatures to fall slightly. Won't be much, at least temperature-wise, but wind chill-wise, because the winds get stronger, that's where it will be more noticeable. So here's a look at Supercast. These are temperatures. You'll notice that fairly steady temperatures, almost the same type of temperatures at 3 p.m. And then we really start to notice that drop heading into this evening. By 9 o'clock, now we have most spots in the low to mid-teens for temperatures. So what does that mean for wind chill values? Could be down to 0, if not below 0, in several areas as early as 6 o'clock. It's going to really drop down as we head into this evening, and then likely staying below 0 for much of the overnight periods. Now, this model shows, I forgot to put a pause there at the beginning, but for the most part, 5 below to as cold as 15 below 0 is expected for tonight into tomorrow morning. I really don't think it's going to drop below 15 below 0. Why is that important? Because here in northeast Kansas, the National Weather Service puts out a cold weather advisory if they feel wind chills are going to be colder than 15 below 0. It's possible. Be mindful of that later on today. If there's a cold weather advisory in your area, that means there's a high likelihood of at least 15 below 0 for the wind chill. Otherwise, I think for the most part, most areas will stay closer to 5 to 10 below 0. Meanwhile, temperatures by 10 a.m. for wind chills in the single digits. And taking a look at those temperatures throughout the rest of the day tomorrow, as temperatures will actually be very similar to what we have for today for highs, but less wind. So wind chills actually will be slightly warmer than what we have right now. So not too bad. All right, so here's a look at Supercast with another round of snow that will be pushing into the area on Saturday night. Most of the activity is going to stay north, but we may get into some of the activity as we get close to about 9 o'clock or so, and we'll continue to push through the area as we head into the overnight periods. Again, not much, and then we just have a mix of sun and clouds through the day on Sunday. So, taking a look at our computer models all the way through Sunday. This includes anything today and anything on Saturday nights. These are more computer models compared to the two that I just showed you earlier in this live stream. Most areas in that trace a half inch, if there's even any accumulation at all. There's going to be several areas that to get zero accumulation. You may get flurries, but no accumulation. And so that's about the best we're going to do for precipitation all the way through the weekend. And then look at this. We are in for a nice warm up on Sunday, upper 30s to mid 40s. Not quite as warm as the 50s and even 60s out in western Kansas, but it is a big improvement from what we're going to continue to deal with all the way up until Sunday afternoon. As Saturday night's temperatures only cooling down in the mid-teens, so much warmer than what it will be for tonight. And then looking ahead into next week, we're generally in the 30s and 40s for highs, lows in the 20s. I'm still keeping my eye on that Tuesday to Tuesday night time frame. The European model one has been the one that's been the most consistent every single day this week, with the exception of yesterday where it didn't show anything at all with most of the precip off to the east, but now it's back at it with some precipitation. We'll see if it shows this again as it updates around midday. Should be done by about 2 o'clock this afternoon, so we'll be able to see what happens with Tuesday and Tuesday night on whether or not it continues to bring precipitation like this or not, or if it's like the other long-range computer models, the GFS and the Canadian, and showing nothing. We'll go with nothing, as the 8-day indicates. So that'll be something to watch out for. Meanwhile, in the 8 to 14-day outlook, showing equal chances of above average and below average precipitation-wise, and temperature-wise, probability of above average. So things are looking better if you're not a fan of these frigid temperatures that we've been in for much of this week and what we're going to have to deal with the rest of the day today and tomorrow. Things are going to be improving starting on Sunday and lasting into the first part of February. So we'll certainly be keeping you updated on a day-by-day basis. In the meantime, I will see you at midday in Kansas and let you know if there are any changes to the forecast and maybe see what Tuesday might bring, as I'll continue to keep an eye on some of the other computer models, the GFS and the Canadian, to see if they indicate anything at all. Have a great day.